Hey, and we're back. So we should be able to do some match recording today. I'm really excited. We are just watching the opener between Lyco here, and I believe this is Nat. We're kind of waiting on Kayiu to show up. It'll be this match, so I'm going to just move it there. We have our other matches that are going to be loading when players are ready. So I guess in the meantime, we can just spectate kind of like the opener, and as soon as Uh-oh, Kaiyu's there. We don't have much time, but good luck to Lyco, good luck to Nat. I think Lyco ended up being on mono green with some really crazy stuff with like an early Xera, some Savage stuff. So hopefully this kind of plays out. Looks like we're in Abzan kind of like control here. Really exciting stuff. But here's who we followed during the draft. So let's see how this match plays out. I believe Styles is on a sort of mostly blue-red, but I'm seeing these fetches. They might just be for fetch reasons, but maybe there's some splashes going on. And Kayiu is on the white-black. Really high amount of removal plan here. So let's switch on over to messages, see what players are doing. Looks like Styles is keeping. Kayiu hasn't decided yet. I'm just going to let both our players know. Good luck, have fun. We have an hour on the clock here, so we can essentially use a little timer here. I think this is pretty much spot on. So when that reaches an hour, we're going to move it forward. Kaiyu's keeping for 7. Wayfarer's Lantern. We've got a lot of removal. Is quite fun here. But we're definitely going to want to find some lands, that's for sure. So yeah, we don't have the turn 1 play. Serene Chapel tapped is going to be fine. Styles here playing a Lieutenant Daisy Saxon. Just a great card to get early because it'll grow pretty quickly because it has cadence. So as soon as you cast a 2-mana spell like Warren Steady, Lieutenant Daisy Saxon is going to move up to a 2/2. So, you know, really good card. Thankfully, it's legendary for constructed, but, you know. So there's the planes. I picked the basics this time around. If you have a favorite basic from Canon Magic, from MSEM, or from Revolution, and you would like to see them in the videos, you can always leave messages like we say. I'm more than happy to switch them around. But in the meantime, I just love these basics so much. They just pop. They're so, you know, saturated in their color. So good stuff all around. With the mana open like this, we have, you know, Evolution Zen, we have Unwrite, so I'm assuming we're going to see one or the other pointed towards Lieutenant Daisy Saxon here to take it out, I would imagine. I'd probably expect Unwrite to be the pick, just for the 3 damage. Oh, nope, looks like we're going straight up with the Exile. Okay, so Evolution Zen, we don't want to see that coming by. Styles could always opt to... Okay, never mind. I think we're going to try and resolve... I mean, we could have used the remove a counter to do 2 damage, but there's the data point. But I'm assuming, yeah, we wanted to keep our mana for some other stuff. Probably this, yeah, Unseen Maniac. So the issue here with Unseen Maniac, not that I think Styles would do it, is if you point an Unwrite at it, you can just pitch your whole hand to grow it. I don't think people would do that. But yeah, so hey, data points, cool card. It's, like I said, it's a clue that hangs around in the hand, so at any point as a sorcery, Styles can pay 2 and essentially cash in that clue. So Kayiu drawing the basics. This is really big because between Wayfarer's Lantern and this, that'll be a pretty early Atal the Shroudmaker, and you know, having Eldritch Emergence, Unrelenting, and Unwrite as options here is quite cool. For 3, we're going to go with Unrelenting, it seems. So the -1/-1 mode. If Styles wants to discard some cards to save themselves, though, they can. Yeah. Alright. So yeah, Unseen Maniac gets the +1/+1 until end of turn and cannot be blocked. But hey, that's a 1 card down, so data point is gone. It is an instant speed. I guess, I don't know. I mean, the same thing could have been done with Unwrite. It's just you would have had to discard a lot more cards. So, interesting. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe that was a misplay. Kind of hard to know. There might be something that I'm missing here, so I don't want to call it too much. We're cracking that Mysterious Cataract here. We're going to go and fetch something. Looks like we're still in the blue-red. All right, so Frostfire Geysers. And then followed up with a Cresting Bay, which enters untapped. So that is the blue version of this cycle. And we're running out a pretty solid creature here in Karanis' Ideosphinx. It's a 4/3. So it has flying and Ward 2, and players seem to keep forgetting it has Ward 2. And the first non-creature spell you cast each turn costs X less, where X is your devotion to blue. So it's quite a good card. That's 1, 2, and 3 devotion right there. So, you know, this Lotus is going to be pretty cheap. So, well, actually, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is costs 1. Wow, what a card. There's Wayfarer's Lantern coming down. Keeping 2 mana open, that's unwrite availabilities here. Worn Study, I'm happy has been seeing play. I thought this card was really, really cool, but it just didn't seem like it was doing a lot. But here in Cube, it's been putting in a lot of work, either just as a scry each turn, or if you've got the mana, just 2 tap and draw. Really happy to be able to give it some new art, coming from a fantastic set, Riddles of Revio here by Queen Emily. Great designer. Riddles of Revio is definitely up there and kind of like the sets that I like. So there's Unwrite, targeting the Unseen Maniac. Styles could pitch 4 cards to save, or obviously we can just pay the 2 here on, or 1 because of Krennis's Idea Sphinx. So Root Corruption is going to counter unless Kayiu pays 2. So yeah, obviously that makes more sense. We don't get the token mode, but I mean, Root Corruption is a quench first and foremost. The tap token copy of target token is a little harder to do. So there we go. Yeah, okay, so Styles is in the Quantum Bit deck. So Quantum Bit is kind of wild. It's whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you can conjure 2 duplicates into your library. Then you shuffle. If there are 2 or more cards in your graveyard that share a name with it, you then copy it, and you can choose new targets for the copy. So essentially, as long as you can cast some really powerful instants and sorceries, as long as Quantum Bit is out, you're going to keep filling up your deck with them. So it's quite cool. I'm really happy to be able to give it a really cool new piece of art too. Well, there's the 5 mana. Root Corruption got cast, so we know there's not another counterspell hanging around the hand. So there's Eldritch Emergence, destroying all non-horrors. So that's going to take out the Unseen and the Idea Sphinx, which is going to make the Lotus a little more expensive now. Not that Styles is necessarily out of fuel. Again, 2 and a tap for Worn Study draws cards. Quantum Bit is going to fill up the deck with some powerful stuff. Lotus also gives you a bunch of data points, and hey, Feeding Time, really good. Whenever an attacking creature dies, you can pay red. If you do, create a 2/1 red Merfolk creature token. So that could have actually been not horrible here. We've got a Dimensional Denial here as a piece of counterspell on the turn. It counters, and then if you successfully countered a spell with mana value 2 or less, you get to Manifest Dread. Pretty cool card all around. It looks like we're paying the full 5. I would imagine that's for Lotus. All right, it enters tapped. It's a legendary enchantment artifact. Conjures 3 data points into your hand, but the tap add 3 mana of any one color. So it's pretty much a Gilded Lotus stapled to a delayed draw 3. I love this card. And it does enter tapped though, so yeah, super. There's the data points. Also happy I could give those new art. That's one of my favorite things to do, is being able to just re-art cards in the community, try my hand at different approaches. So yeah, Feeding Time, there it is. This card's really good. So here's the interesting thing. It triggers off you're attacking, they're attacking. It does a lot, right? That's a 7-drop. So here's Atal, and all this is tapped out, so there's no Dimensional Denial here. So because Atal is at full value, when it enters, it's going to create 2 tapped 1/1 colorless human creature tokens. Just going to make sure that they see. And then if Atal isn't a token, creature to control gain flying until end of turn. So next turn it will attack as a 7 mana flyer. So it will be a short clock if Styles can't find something scary here, but there's room to dig, obviously. We've got data points in hand. We've got Worn Study. The Scry is nice here because it combos well with your data points. Looks like Styles isn't sure about using it. Okay, looks like we're going for the draw here. This is the repeatable draw. You might want to keep these for some other things, but just drawing into lands is definitely not what Styles wants. There is still Cresting Bay that can also, pick up some stuff, but it's going to be... It's going to be a little rough. Oh, my cat says hello. I'm just going to open the door for her so she can sneak on out. Here you go. Bye. She's a very small black cat. Her name is Nikki. She is like 14 going on 15, and she's so small that sometimes I don't realize she's in the room, and then she just pops out of a nook, and she's absolutely adorable. So, um, Quantum Bit, 2 or more cards. When you cast 2 or more, I think you need to have another one. But I mean, it will happen. Honestly, that's such a good pairing. I mean, I will say they're from the same set. They're from Beyond the Black Wall. Quantum Bit and Data Points does work. I don't know if you really want to fill up your deck though with Data Points. It's a May for a reason. If you're playing Data Points, you might not necessarily want to fill your deck with Data Points. But hey, talking about good cards that we're happy to pick up, Liminality does a lot of work. It's pick 2 or 4. It's either return a creature, return a spell, return a sorcery card from your hand. You get to pick 2, and if you want the third of the good ones, you'll have to conjure a Fatigue on top of your library, which is a Data Point, just with a different name. 2 different sets, 2 different designers, similar mechanic, but, you know, that's how it goes. So what will likely happen here is Liminality is going to be saved. Whoops, there it is. Liminality is going to be saved to... Do we have sorceries in here? What do we got? Data Points? Okay, well... I guess it might just be the first 2 modes if we don't want to pick back up a Data Point. It'll be return whatever spell is being cast, and then return probably a Tal the Shroudmaker. Not sure there's really a different pick here. So yeah, you definitely do it on a cast, but you can also just dimensional denial if you really want to permanently say no. Okay, well, that's going to be a bounce and a bounce. Buys you a little bit of time. And if we go for the counter here on Seto-san, because I'm assuming we're either going to see Wayfarer's Lantern untap a white, lets us recast Seto-san the Dragon Blade. We can counter, or we can hold up the Dimensional Denial hard counter for Atal. So there's 2 more copies of Liminality being thrown into the deck. It's quite cool. Honestly, I would love to see someone pull off the Quantum Bit and Unrelenting, especially because this is just in the mystery slot, so the card's not going to be around forever. I mean, unless we do a cube where we, break the singleton and we put 4 of that card in. I don't think we'll ever do that, but, it's where there's a will, there's a way, right? All right, so there we go. Wayfarer's Lantern. What's interesting, though, is you could use the second mode. You could go 2 white, white, discard, and because it's a ability, you can't counter it. That'll be really funny if that's what we're going for instead of Seto-san. There is 3 blue here, so we'll see what ends up... Oh, is that what we're doing? Oh, that's exciting. So we're doing the 4-mana mode, which, again, is totally fine. So there's the copy. That can't be countered. 2 more tokens. Yeah. Yeah, it's the discard mode. So Atal is in the graveyard. You got a 4/4 non-legendary mode. There is technically a token for it. Unfortunately, doesn't seem to have worked this month. So hopefully next month they get fixed. I sent in a list of all the little token issues that I had spotted. Cajun is in charge of like most of the back end here. Lord knows how much work Cajun gets done every month, so it's totally fine. What do we got here? Wiretapper. Okay, yeah, this is from the mystery one as well. It's a 3/1 flash. When it enters, you pick one. You exile a spell. For as long as it's exiled, you can cast it, but it costs 2 more. Or you can create a copy of the card with target spell's name. You may cast the copy, so you still have to pay for it. All right, there's Data Point, so copies draws 2. Okay, it looks like we just wanted the value on it rather than adding more of them in, which makes total sense. So we're just, now they become 2 mana draw 2s, so that's not horrible. Honestly, drew into some good cards here. Zerat the Searcher will be costing 1 less for each instant and sorcery, which currently is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Zerat costs 2 blue. And it can keep making 2/2 elementals with flying, with whenever they become the target of a spell, sacrifice it. And the -3 isn't so bad either. It returns a non-land permanent to its owner's hand. You draw a card. Because it was a token, it poofs. So My one concern is you've left your Zerat pretty defenseless here. What do we got in terms of mana? We got 4 attacks. It's only got 1 toughness. There's Paul. Okay, draws, returns. There's some things we can do. This is Flash. Liminality is an instant. We're at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, we could do both. 2 blues here. Feeding time. There's a lot of red. You could do triple red if you can kill 3. So there's a lot of stuff. But Zerat seems decently mid defended, I would say. Oh well, Jejun Dark Hunter is kind of nuts, but Styles is slowly filling up counter spells here. So Liminality, Dimensional, and Wiretapper all are counter spells. So well, let's see what comes out first. Are we using black, black, black here? Okay, looks like we're doing black, black, black Jejun mode. All right, we're gonna see a counter spell, one of them here. The question is which one? Liminality. It's probably the one you want more of. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, that's what I would assume as well. So that's also going to either bounce or pick up a sorcery. The interesting thing about the sorceries is now that they can be, these data points are 2 mana draw 2s. It's interesting if you're not too worried about the, you can't pick up Liminality, that's an instant. Okay, Styles already caught it. Okay. I mean, yeah. You could have returned a creature, but that's tough. I mean, you kind of have to do one of, it's fine anyway. All right, everything at the Zerat, we're taking care of that card here. Yeah, if the +1 keeps going, it's going to be an issue. So, no surprise there. Not huge on this turn. Are we just flashing in Wiretapper as a blocker? And then paying red to get a Merfolk? Okay. I'm not huge on this. I mean, it's not the worst, but you traded in a lot of resources there, and you still lost your card, right? We're tapping 3. That's going to be Seto-san. You're tapped out here. Seto-san can start making 1/1 warriors. Unless there's an equipment and aura, obviously, in the deck. But, okay, there's the warrior. Okay. Again, Seto-san, one of the mystery cards, but just such a good card. It was in the original MSC, in the original cube. But one of the things that we wanted in the MC25 is we did not reprint anything that wasn't a land, and it couldn't have been reprinted in MSC. So if the card was new to the cube, we let ourselves pick it, but we even tried not to do too much of that. So that one was like a 540 cube. This is a 360. So we managed to find 360 cards-ish that, 300, I guess, closer to 320 cards that just hadn't been picked before. So pretty cool. Data point, we're shuffling them in. Oops, you have to make them permanent here. Let's just see if Style saw. You have to flag them. It's a thing in the menu when you do a control token is you have to flag a... Yeah, it looks like it. So there's an option to flag do not destroy, right? So you can actually put these into the deck. So it looks like we're doing Quantum Bit. We're conjuring 2 into the deck, shuffling. I don't know about putting in more data points. There is something really funny about your data points drawing more data points, but at one point, don't you want to dig for more liminalities and like powerful cards? I don't know. Maybe it's correct in this case because this was your last one and you always want to have a few floating around. And you have the spare mana. Okay, yeah, I can see it. All right, 2/1 attacking here. You can block the 1/1. You can pay red. and you get your 2/1 back. So, you know, might as well if you have the spare mana. Fuel for the Fire is quite good. 5 damage to a creature or planeswalker. It exiles it, creates a tapped treasure. So, not horrible. This card is really powerful. It might be actually pushing a little bit above what red as a 2 mana should do, so might be something we keep an eye out here in Constructed, but here in the cube it's doing a lot of work. And here's Paul Rock Bottom. Paul is a very sticky 2 mana planeswalker. It's got +1 draw a card, then discard a card. 0 until end of turn, it becomes a 2/2 construct with prowess. You prevent all damage will be dealt to them this turn. And then -3, you can bring back an instant or a sorcery card from your graveyard. So it looks like we did +1 for the draw discard. And when it dies, you can discard a card. If you do, it comes back from your graveyard to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. You do have to still replay it. But lots of recurring value here in this blue-red deck is kind of cool. Not that Kayiu doesn't have their own powerful stuff. Order Module is actually quite good. We're at, what, 8 mana because we got that treasure here. So, you know, I mean, there's quite a few things we can do. You know, this could be the +1/+1 mode. This could be an exile, a non-land permanent. Like, completely get rid of something that's a huge problem. The 3/1/1 with flying can't be blocked by the merfolk. So, if you can get the flying and then activate the creatures you control get +1/+1 on the following turn, that's starting to become a big clock. You still have Jejun. We know that Dimensional Denial is still in the hand, so counter a spell with mana value 2 or less, you will manifest Dread. Not that that's likely to happen, but unless we go after Promised Sun, but counter target spell is still, you know, pretty there. Ominous Discovery is a good card for digging. Ironically, I think you'd rather have Data Point at this point. I mean, no, they're fine. Let's look at the top 2, 1 to hand, 1 to graveyard. It's not the worst. Kaiyu's probably going to have to think about a few things. There's a few options here. Trying to hardcast a Jejun again is doable, but if you get countered, it's going to feel pretty bad, especially if you're doing the sacrifice mode. I mean, all of it will feel pretty bad. Privileged Sun could have cycled for it, but, you know, it is what it is. Unlikely to get down to an empty hand unless Kayiu does it, because I think Styles is going to keep a pretty full grip, especially that you can use the Worn Study to keep picking up cards. I don't know, Order Module is starting to look pretty good here with the flying. Not really any way to deal with it, though. I mean, there is a way to deal with it. It's called Dimensional Denial, so we'll see what gets cast. If it's 4, I'm assuming this is Order Module. I would imagine we're starting with... Oh, we're not... Okay, we're tapping like this. Okay. So Order Module, when it enters, you'll activate 1 for free. So we'll just see if this brings out the counterspell. Honestly, if it does bring out the counterspell, yep, there's Dimensional Denial. Are we using Quantum Bit to put 2 more into the deck? Looks like no. Maybe. All right, looks like no. Yeah, thankfully it's a May. You get to pick what you want. So no Order Module, but that does mean there's nothing left to stop Jejun on following turns. So something to keep in mind. So we're using here, we're activating Serene Chapel. Serene Chapel is a 2/1 flyer. We can put Paul down to 1 loyalty here. And when it attacks, you can exile a card from the graveyard. There's actually quite a few picks here, I guess. If you really want to ensure nothing comes back out or doubles up, you can pick out Liminality. Yep. I can get behind that. I don't remember when the Neon Claw Knight went to the bin. Was that when were you doing like draw discard at one point? Is that what happened? Neon Claw is really fun though as a card. I'm sure you'll see it in future matchups. This card's great. So there's Digital Encores. Okay. Pretty good card. You draw 2 cards. Then if it wasn't cast from your hand, you create a function token with Compose. So it's going to be a draw 2 here. Compose is essentially you create a Saga token with, and then you put it under it. And then on the 3rd chapter, you get to cast a copy. So it's 2 cards, then 2 cards, and you create a function with Compose. A function is an enchantment. You can sacrifice them when you cast instants or sorceries to add their functions to the spell. So then you can give something else Compose, and you'll get it back in 3 turns. Really cool new card designed by Hersey. Brand new. to the cube and to the format. Here's Tech Chaser. So we've been discussing like what are some of like the best cards, and Tech Chaser's value has been going up quite a bit in the format, I would say. It's just quite powerful. Really big fan of it. Just the fact that it's the ETB is the exile of the top three. Like even if you ever like never end up casting some of them, just taking out some of your opponent's best cards is just quite good. Checking real quick on the Cube League, looks like no one has reported their matches yet, which is good for me. It means that I haven't missed anything critical. I mean, players could always come and message me if that was the case, but I probably should keep my keep the channel open just so I can see it on the side. All right, what do we got here? Okay, we're in the second main phase. Okay. Oh, okay, we're looting with Paul. Okay, Marillier here being discarded. So Styles got a lot of stuff going on, but not a lot of ways to like interact with what's going on. So like Technique's good. Honestly, I'm not surprised. Okay, it's a power control deck. Here we go. So power control is really good card. You conjure a card named Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, and Time Twister into your main library, then shuffle. Styles is down to 9 cards in their main library. If you can get it down so that you only have... Oh no, why are we making versions of the... Anyway, whatever. You're not making the pretty ones? Ah, it's fine. Whatever. No offense to Beyond the Black Wall, but I think... I think there's an art difference here. So we're shuffling 2 of those copies in. Then we're going to draw 3 cards and exile power control. If we can find the Time Walk, and then you can keep putting copies of Time Walk in, you can eventually combo off, and that's one of still the no tokens. Yeah, we know. It's there's no token scripts. That's fine. Oh, looks like Nyx is watching the game. That means we probably had our first match. All right, looks like Nyx wins, right? Super. Okay, so while all that resolves, I'm just going to go plug in the notes real quick here. Nyx wins 2-0. Sweet. Nice and easy. Okay, well, there's Time Twister, there's Ancestral Recall, and there was Time Walk. Time Walk just got destroyed. Come on. You gotta click the little button that says don't destroy me. Alright, so these are the original arts from Beyond the Black Wall. The arts that match Power Control are a little different, but it's totally fine. Okay. So shuffled, this is exiled, and now we draw 3 cards. We drew into a power control. Not necessarily the one you wanted. If you had the 2 mana, you were probably hoping for a... probably the Time Walk is the one you really want. That's going to be really nuts with your like Saga tokens, Quantum Bit, really good stuff, But of course, more power control means more chances to put it in, and again, you can keep adding more power control. There's a lot of wild stuff that can happen with Quantum Bit power control. And the wildest thing is that this can all be done in that set's limited. I mean, it's kind of hard to pick them. I think they're, like, obviously this is a mythic. I don't remember what Quantum Bit's original rarity is, but yeah. Styles is at 16 life. Kayiu is at 10, but we're drawing some of the big stuff, like Graz, which is going to... Do we have the 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this can create copies of non-legendary. So hopefully, okay, we're just going for Jijun. Okay, so here we go. It's big, it's dangerous. It's a 6/6 lifelink haste. I'm just gonna absolutely pummel stuff. There's no blockers here, I believe. I mean, there will be flying eventually in Prince of Stars. All right, looks like everything's going face, so nothing at Paul. Yeah, the lifelink is a big difference here. 6 life on Kayiu just essentially flips the script, and then really good stuff. So Worn Study, gonna go pick up a card. It's not Time Walk. I mean, there is a possibility that we get into the Time Walk like loop, right? And I think that's where things are gonna get really dangerous for Kayiu. Drawing lands. All right, 1/2, Worn Study. There's Time Walk. So I think this is going to be pretty scary here because Time Walk, you can use Quantum Bit. Put 2 more copies in. Shuffle that up. And then if you just keep looping that, things are going to go really, really wrong. Especially because, all the creatures here are tapped out. So you can run out your own creatures. You know that Prince of Stars is going to cascade into something that's not power control. So there's another Time Walk. So it'll be 2 extra turns. Yeah, okay. Thankfully we didn't have to play out the whole thing. Wow, that's tough. Really got to low enough deck where power control could be good. Earlier it wouldn't have done quite as much, but really good stuff. We can't check sideboards, unfortunately, because these lists, we're not built like that. So let's see what's going on over here. We've got Lyco here still against Nat. Okay, so this is really like an Abzan, I would say control, but there's definitely a value list. Mutual Destruction's good and stuff. And looks like we're mostly on the mono green doing big stuff here. Wise Old Oak hits like a truck. So this match had already finished, I believe, so we can just close that up. And this one as well. Okay, sweet. Good stuff. Looks like players are playing briskly. I think this one's going to go all the way to the end unless we get a 2-0. Let me check right now if there's drops. Okay, so it looks like Kumrak is dropping out, but all good. Right, and Cool Beans is also dropping out. No worries. This is the whole point. We ask that we do at least 1 match. We don't expect any more than that. So we just said Augur wins 2-0. Cool Beans is dropping, and Kumrak is dropping. Sweet. So we'll be ready for that. Always appreciate people coming out to draft, The 1 match is what we really ask for, because if you queue up to draft, you've essentially taken one of our spots, and somebody else has to be asked, hey, sorry, we have to turn you away. So it's polite to at least play the first round, right? So Sinner's Solace here has quite a few things. Are we just exiling Quantum Bit? Because that would be huge here. If we just take that Quantum Bit and exile it, never have to worry about it, yeah, there's other good cards, but if your deck struggles with hitting enchantments, oh, okay, we're letting it go. I mean, we don't have the red, and there's double red, but yeah, maybe I'm just, it's kind of like what, last game mentality that Quantum Bit scary, right? But Tech Chaser also very scary, so I do agree. It's a fine thing to hit out. There's Ragavan Most Wanted. 2-1, as long as you control 2 or more other pirates, Ragavan has haste. And then whenever 1 or more pirates you control deal combat damage, you get a tapped treasure token. So not the exile, but There's Lantern, we got the white, we got the black, we got a fetch. We can follow it up later with an Alonzo Departed Detective, which is just going to slowly clock your opponents. And if we can find some creatures, it's going to make a bit of a difference. So Ragavan chipped in. We're going to see a mountain here. Are we going to see an early Quantum Bit, I would imagine? Yeah. Again, the Tech Chaser, because it has flying and haste, would have been just as kind of nasty here early. So I definitely don't disagree with wanting to go after it. And wow, Antithesis is actually really good here. I think you want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think you want to hard cast it. Even though Alonzo is great, I think you want this permanently on the field. It's going to change a lot of the math. I mean, we've seen that Styles has quite a few 1/1s, so there's a permanent Antithesis, and I don't think that Styles has a way of dealing with that, as we saw, right? We saw return creatures, we saw return spells, and this was a shields down moment. It really means you just can't resolve Neon Claw Knight. Your Zerats are going to be 1/1s, which changes the math on them quite a bit. There's no instants or sorceries, so this still costs the full 7. 4, we're still quite a bit away. Can't cast this. This is removal, only hits artifacts. I mean, you can throw it at the Wayfarer's Lantern and give a treasure if you really feel the need to. Careless Violence isn't going to do anything here. I guess we're doing... Okay, this is really interesting. We're going to cast Neon Claw Knight, and we're going to go for the function that it creates, rather than... getting the body. So this is the spell costs red less to cast. So it'll help with some of the fixing. But Plains is going to be nice here. There's no counter spells right now in Siles' hand. Alonzo is going to start going +1. Each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. It's a slow clock, but it is a clock, right? And as soon as we can find some creatures, the 1/1 spirit mode is going to do quite a bit. And then, of course, if you get some, you can just sacrifice to destroy non-land permanents. So there's a way to get rid of Quantum Bit. So still no instants or sorceries. I'm just going to keep this here. Okay, Ideo Sphinx can come out. It's going to be a 3/2, which is, it's not scary, but it will cost the treasure. But we're just going to go for Fuel for Fire. All right, there we go. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you can get the body out later, but you don't want Alonzo to keep accruing value. If it got up to 6, you would be quite sad here with Fuel for the Fire. It would be nice if Kayiu could stop drawing lands. I jinxed it by saying it. I'm so sorry. Kayiu doesn't need that mana anymore. Kayiu needs the threats. But Antithesis is doing a lot of work. Okay, holding up Liminality is going to be quite good. Hold up. Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, there we go. All right, everything's fixed. Look at me trying to type, but they're already resolving things faster. Sphinx is smaller. You sack the treasure, not the reduction function. It's a land, but it is one you can use. So it could trade for the Sphinx in a pinch. But actually what's going to be really nice is if the Sphinx attacks, you'll be able to chip back in and take away these instants and sorceries is actually quite big here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's still not a Zerat. Getting stuff out of the yard is actually not irrelevant here. So quick peek here. This match is still going on. Yep. Nat's at pretty low life, but yeah. All right. They're still going. There is still 20 or so minutes left of the round. Probably means that we won't see a game 3 for this one, depending on how fast things go out. Obviously, it would have been faster if Kayiu had found some of the big top enders, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How are we doing that? Well, wait, what? Oh, that's my bad. Ah, yeah, non-creature. Okay, I keep forgetting that Karanos is not just instants or sorceries. I keep forgetting that this card is better than it is. All good. All right. Okay. Yeah, that's annoying, but I mean, these are 1/1s, but still, that doesn't mean you can attack with this 3/2, and it's going to be harder to get your Serene Chapel through now, unless we find something else. Honestly, what would be amazing is Inexorable Epidemic. I think Styles just can't resolve creatures after that point. Leyline Invoker, I mean, it's a creature. You're going to want it to start fueling stuff up, so might as well, right? So enters, you mill 2 if you want. I assume we're going to in this situation. Because if it is a creature, we can reanimate it, but it's tough to know. If you hit your Inexorable Epidemic or one of your enchantments, you're going to feel pretty bad, I guess. But, I mean, if you hit one of your Elder Horrors, it's going to feel better. I don't know. Tough choice. It's not a big reanimate deck, so, like, it's not like most of your deck you want to send to the graveyard. There's, like, a few specific things you want to bring back, so. All right, Kaiu's going to think on it a little bit. How's this one going? Tap down, 9-3. Oh boy, it looks like things are swinging back in this player's favor here. 3-2, 4-5. Eeh. All right, looks like we milled. Well, so here's the funny thing: we didn't want to see Inexorable Epidemic go to the yard, but we did want to see Jejun Dark Hunter go to the yard. So, you win some, you lose some. 6/6 Lifelink Haste is going to be great. The fact that it's an ability. I mean, Liminality is going to put it back in your hand. You just recast it. Oh, I'm oh no, never mind. Whatever. We're making another 1/1 here. Um, I mean, there could have been a -3 to return a non-land permanent to its owner's hand, right? Could have bounced the antithesis, but I guess it makes more sense to just keep making these 1/1s for a while. So, oh, okay, that makes sense too. Obviously, yeah, keeping Leyline Invoker off. All right, I can see it. It's a shame that the epidemic did end up in the yard, but it is what it is. There's Hanabira Kogane's Legacy. Probably not what we want right now. Yes, it can, essentially arrest someone on every attack. There's an interesting thing we can do. You can do Hanabira Kogane's Legacy. You can animate Serene Chapel. Actually, Serene Chapel. Well, we've got return target creature to its owner's hand here in Liminality. I guess this is why Styles feels fine with leaving Zerat unprotected, because you can bounce the land, and if you play out the equipment, that's going to be not great. But I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Animating, attacking. I don't know what's going on here. It's don't control Styles. Yeah. Swinging for 2. Are we going to see Liminality here? There's no sorceries in the yard. There's no spell. Let's see. Start a combat. One, two. Oh, I mean, it's each turn, right? So it's going to cost less. Okay, it'll just be blue for Liminality. Doesn't feel great to just bounce a creature with it, but I mean, sometimes you have to do it. You do have your Quantum Bit out, so you can just keep putting more copies in. Some tough picks here, some tough picks, I won't lie. Alright, there's Liminality. Return a creature. So you're going to put back the Serene Chapel into Kaiyu's hand. I'm assuming we're making 2 copies of it with Quantum Bit. That's interesting. Okay, we put a Fatigue on top. Wow, that's really interesting. I'm... You have to choose 2. Oh, actually, you know what? You have to choose 2. Wow. Yeah, it's not up to 1s. Jeez, that's not great. Instead of choose up to 2. Oh my gosh. All right. Well, there's Leyline. 2 more mills. I think it put an unwrite. It put in a board wipe. Not super, but not the worst. I mean, yeah. This would have been nice to get, a 4/4 token with Ancient Flying and Vigilance here, but Hanabira here is fine. It's going to attack, and just got to be careful because it's a attack and it targets. I believe that Ward will ask you to pay 2 for it. There's the Fatigue. It's not a data point, but it's, it's similar. If you start doing the Fatigue loop, I guess, with the Quantum Bit, I am surprised, I think, that we didn't put in Liminalities. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's not enough fuel, not enough targets to want to clog your deck with Liminality, but I mean, you've let, Liminality, your fuel stuff go, so. Zerat survived another turn, so you can't do the -3, so it's going to be the +1, and that puts you at 3, which is important. You get the free draw off of the Ideoswing, so I guess it's not the worst. Root Corruption, alright. You can get a 1/1 with the tap mode, but I guess it's going to be the counter target spell unless this controller pays 2, so you've got to quench. Kaiyu's got a lot of mana, but I think the important thing is going to be we're about to bring back a Jejun here, right? So swinging for 4 puts Kayiu down to 9. There's not a lot of creatures in the yard, so this is not going to cost much. It's going to cost 5. Anyway, Chapel is in hand. Okay, so it looks like we're using Merillier as a deception target. All right, so it's going to hit for an extra point of damage. And I think that was total of 5, so we can get Lotus into play. Yeah, the fact that this card brings out to the battlefield is kind of obscene. I'm assuming you're going to see some changes to that in the future. And it looks like Lyco's match is finished as well, so we're just going to take a quick peek, see who finished. Okay, I guess they didn't finish, but and yeah, it was 4 damage. Oops. Ooh, I even missed that too. So yeah, you can't get Lotus. That's okay. Worn Study. Still a fine card. It goes onto the battlefield. Not even tapped, huh? Yep. Funnily enough, this is a card that whose deception cost should probably be greater. Funnily enough, because it gives it haste. But yeah, Worn Study was putting in a lot of work. So we're starting to see the pieces of the first match come back together here. So the issue is Leyline is here. That's going to bring out Jejun. There's really no answer to that. You're going to probably be able to block it here, but you know it's a lifelink and haste. So Kayiu is going to be gaining 6. Oh, actually, let me choose something. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You actually have the mana to put Hanabira Kogane's Legacy on Jejun, so that's nice. 2 more mills, Emergence, and what was the other one? Order Module. Dang. Honestly, the ley line's just not putting creatures, but we saw that the creature density in Kaiyu's deck wasn't super high. But, you know, it is what it is. Beyond the Veil is great. Phases things out. And then if they have mana value 3 or less, can't phase in. So there's reasons to use that. Okay, interesting. I didn't think this is what we were going to do, but yep. All right, Leyline's a 3/5. We're going to attack. That's going to arrest, and we're going to take out Zerat. Okay, yeah, the 3 damage here, I can get behind that. And we know there's not really a way, I believe, for Zerat to come back. We've got the mana for Beyond the Veil if you want to get rid of Marillier for quite a while. And you've got the mana to pay for Quenches here, so. And we'll see what Style says. I would assume there's no counterspell here. We're not just going to make Kayiu pay 2. Cool. So enters. Oh, but it's a non-land permanent. It could be Quantum Bit that we go after, or the Worn Study to stop the value train going. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is going to be a Lotus. So maybe Marillier, I believe, could be the correct target. You definitely don't want Lotus coming out. That's a lot of mana. The data points are pretty good, and that's what let your Quantum Bit kind of pop off for a bit. And they cost 2 less because of the Ideo Sphinx. So a lot of things came together there to make that work. And the fact that this will just keep tutoring every turn and you don't have really another blocker here because your Serene Chapel, you spent it on mana. Maybe that should have been one of these planes, and then you would have had the mana to turn into a 2/1 as like a surprise blocker. So I don't know. Okay, Worn Study. I'm going to use it in response to draw a card. That makes sense. That's going to get phased out. Super. Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that would be the that's enough for a Lotus pickup. So yeah, again, Quantum Bit hasn't done much yet. I believe it actually hasn't been used yet, but it's the fact that this is the piece that combos off. I don't know. Some early decisions. Honestly, the Tech Chaser would have done a lot. I think it would have hit a lot of lands, though, judging from what Kaiyu's top decks were, so maybe I'm wrong here. Oh, you know what? This is arrested. It can't attack, and I'm sure maybe Styles has forgotten, too, so we'll have to see. I'm sure Kayiu remembers. I know I forgot. It's until your next turn. Yeah, okay. So it is still only going to be 4, so. Okay, there we go. Kaiyu's at 5. We know that Jijin can pick up some life here, but 4 is not 5. What other artifacts have we seen? I'm blanking pretty hard. I don't know if we saw any previously. Oh, nothing. Looks like it's Lotus or Bust. Okay. Then I guess it was a correct decision here to phase out the Worn Study then. Mountain coming in. I mean, there's Careless Violence. Root is still there. Dimensional Denial is good. More lands. Look, it is what it is. So this time I think we're going to pay 2 and arrest the Ideo-Sphinx? Or are we doing something else here? Oh, we're doing the Reanimate. Okay. So 5 in total. Jejun. I hope that if we are doing Hanabira, that we remember to play the land first. Because, oh no, we have Wayfarer's Lantern, and we have the treasure. We're fine. We're fine. Now it's an 8/8. That's a lot of life. Well, here's the thing. You could also just say, hey, that one, and yeah, okay. So we have to pay the 2. I wonder if Styles is going to call it out here. So I guess we're fine with, yeah. So Ward. So you have 1, you have 2. You have the mana. You have the mana. You're fine. There we go. So are you going to block with the 1/1? I don't know. Any blocks? Doesn't have trample until you can find a demon. There's not exactly a lot of demons in the cube. Keep an eye out for next month. There will be some more demons. So, all right, there's no 1/1 block here. +8, 13. We got 5 minutes left on the clock. All right, we have players that are doing their stuff here. So it looks like Nat did pick up the wins. Kayiu seemed to have like a great moment there. All right, Styles is creating a copy of, I'm guessing, the reduction. Oh, in response to the block. Interesting. What happened here? Okay, hold up. In response to the block, root corruption creates a copy. What's the sack that's going on here? What? You don't. I don't know what's going on here though. The ability sacks it, spell fizzles with no target. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, I saw what we did. Okay, we did create a tap token. It's a copy, and okay. The blue elementals have become the target of the spell. Sacrifice it. So it was a block and then sacked. So before the combat damage was dealt. Okay. Wow, that's kind of scary here. At very low life totals, but the Ideo Sphinx can't attack. So that's just a 1. Pretty relevant. I mean, we didn't play this out in case, I guess, maybe there's a discard thing hanging around. I don't know. It would be nice for Kayiu to stop seeing lands. I think it's really sad that it's just been lands and every non-land has ended up in the bin. I totally understand. But you know what? Swarming Midden is not the worst. It's a 2/3 on the attack that creates 1/1s, so it will eventually start creating, enough bodies. You can also animate your Serene Chapel here. It's going to be 10 points of damage. You have a blocker here in Swarming Midden that can actually eat Marillier. We're going to pay another 2. And then I believe Serene's going to exile something. Yeah, Liminality is going to leave. Paid for the ward. And that's going to be 10 damage at the face. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, sorry, 8 and 10, right? Plus 2 and yeah. Kayu's back up to 12. That's huge. Only can attack with a 1 if... I mean, Styles is good at paying attention. We'll see. So Cresting Bay is a 2/2 because of this, which means that Midden could eat... Oh, yeah, we have the mana for it, right? 1, 2, 3, right? Oh no. Why not? Are we holding something up? We had the mana, right? Maybe didn't want liminality to have value. I don't know. I do not know here. I mean, the lose 3 life thing is kind of funny here. But again, I think just the attack... This is counter, this is draw, this isn't enough. I think you have it, right? And yeah, it's going to be time because we really only got the 1 minute left on the clock. Okay. Super. Lyco looks like going to stay in, which is nice. Kayu's thinking a little bit here. I mean, you got lethal. I mean, obviously, there's mana open. You don't know what your opponent can do. It's good to plan around. I like putting out. Yeah. Okay. Searching. Okay. Interesting. Card with mana value 4 or greater. Are we going to go for... So one of the interesting things we can do here is go for one of the elders, right? Of course, it's going to get countered. Oh, okay. Well, hey. Power module's fine too. It destroys creatures or planeswalkers. For power module, I'm assuming it's going to get countered here. Oh, and there's the timer. All right. That's time. But I think this is going to be enough here, right? 1 and 2. Oh, well, there's the blocker in Marillier. That's true. You block, so... There we go. Kayiu gains another 8 life here. Marillier kicks the bucket. You can't attack with Idea Sphinx. Kind of running on fumes, but, you know. I mean, Order Module would have destroyed a creature, right? I forgot that the both were on tap. That's my bad. That definitely would have made a difference here. Okay, 1, 2. Digital Encore is looking for an answer of some kind. There are some, right? Liminality is an answer. I'm going to track... right. This is turn 1. That's probably not it, right? We'll return an instant or sorcery. Is there a liminality in the yard? Nope. Fuel for the Fire doesn't get there. Root Corruption doesn't get there. This is phased out. Draw Discard could find it, so I guess there's no reason not to run out Paul Rock Bottom here. +1. That's not it either, but I guess you can discard the Mountain. You can play Ominous Discovery. Really just digging for that one out that you have, but I guess you keep the mountain. Did we play a land this turn? Does not look like it. Looks like we went straight to tapping island, so we do have a 4th mana here. Might be screwed. Yeah, well, it's the digging is impressive. I mean, you do have one that costs. Oh, that's only red less to cast. Let's see how that goes. Hopefully, both players stick it in. I mean, this has been a really fun one. So, yeah, I guess this is it. And honestly, Kayiu was just drawing so many lands. It is impressive that. Honestly, these creature lands putting in a lot of work. I mean, Midden didn't do the thing that I thought it was going to do, but okay. We're going for it. We're going for it. We're paying 2 ward. Is this it? What's this also creates a rat. I love it. Targets. I mean, there is a flash, right? No? Yeah, there is a flash blocker here. Oh my gosh, it's true. I forgot this has flash. So yeah, that can still be a few more points, but that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, you know what? This doesn't work. It'll have 0 toughness when it comes in, right? So I don't even think you can block with it. I'm sure Kayiu will say. Let's see what Kayiu says. That's it. Yeah, 0 toughness doesn't work there. Antithesis putting in the work. All right. That was the 1-1. All right. Hey, thanks for sticking around. Wow, that was a long one. We're going to keep doing this because we're having a blast. Thanks for sticking in as long as you did. Hopefully, we've got some more content for you coming up right away.